Herzlich willkommen zu einem Podcast der Dresdner Musikfestspiele. Unsere Gesprächspartner sind der Countertenor David James und der Bariton Gordon Jones, beide Mitglieder des Hilliard Ensembles, das am 27. Mai in der Frauenkirche auftritt. Was verbinden die Sänger mit diesem Ort?
Our experience has been, we've always had very good audiences actually in Dresden. There's something about that church, people will be happy to go there even if they're not sure what they're going to. You know, there's something that draws them, you know, to want to sit in that church and listen to music. And it lends itself to it, its shape and everything. I mean, when you're standing in the front and looking at that, it's just, you know, as far as the eye can see, you know, you think, oh, I've seen the last sort of balcony or ridge. But no, then further on, there's yet more and more. It's a huge place and absolutely thrilling. And as I said, our experiences, the audience have been very good and enjoyed, you know, what we've done there. And so we look forward always to going back.
Auf dem Programm des Konzerts in der Frauenkirche steht unter anderem die Dresdner Erstaufführung des Oratoriums »Von den 4 Enden der Welten«, das der Schweizer Daniel Glaus für 4 Singstimmen, Sprecher und Orchester komponiert hat. Welche Bedeutung hat neue Musik für das Hilliard Ensemble und was ist das Faszinierende an Ur- und Erstaufführungen?
The possibilities are so enormous, you're never quite sure what's going to turn up. And I mean, we now have a fair repertoire of pieces with either chamber orchestra or larger ensembles, and each one of them is very different in style and requires very different things from us as an ensemble and as individual singers. So yes, there's never a dull moment.
I mean, singing with the orchestra is particularly exciting because it's so different from our normal Fach, you know, the normal work we do, and adds completely different dimensions and it requires different skills. It's very interesting for us to see how composers approach writing for a small quartet like us and large orchestra. Each composer who has tried has had a slightly different idea of what will work and what won't, and so it's very exciting. And again, we're in anticipation of what Daniel Glaus might write and see how he sort of overcomes the problems that this small ensemble would present, because I mean, there's only 4 of us singing against a full orchestra. We would think we could be completely drowned and would be in a sea of nothingness.
For me personally, I think just doing early music wouldn't really be a possibility. Somehow or other, doing the two together, they both help bring the other to life. Somehow or other, the early music, well, music by dead people, music by live people, the music kind of speak to one another, I think. I could not become obsessed with historical practice and that kind of thing. That just leaves me cold. Music really has to speak to you. It has to speak to the audience. It has to be about something. You know, as a group, we are very much concerned with the words we sing. And if the words don't mean something, you don't have to agree with them, but if the words don't really mean very much, then on the whole, the piece of music doesn't mean very much. There does, I guess, have to be a story somewhere.
From day one in the Hilliard Ensemble, we've always sung both old and new, and to me, there is no difference, you know, I mean, in the sense that we approach them artistically, musically in a similar way, and don't actually say, oh, today we're doing new music, we ought to sing, especially we ought to work in a different way and everything. I mean, and they're equally exciting and challenging in their own way. I mean, we're trying to always push ourselves, you know, further directions and doing new things, and I think that in many ways keeps the group, you know, re-energizing itself all the time. You know, if you sort of sit back and say, oh, we've done enough, that's fine, but I think soon we say in English, sort of stale and become sort of rather, yeah, you rest on your laurels and sort of don't do it. So we try to keep re-challenging ourselves with new stuff.
The new challenges we've taken on haven't been just because we want to keep our name out in public, but because we actually want new things to do. I remember having a conversation with John Potter, who used to be a member of the group, who had a similar background to me in that he'd done a lot of early music and contemporary music, and he'd sung for a time in the Swingle Singers, and I'd sung for a time in a group called Electric Phoenix, and we had both performed and recorded Luciano Berio's Sinfonia. I performed it many times, dozens of times, and we were sitting in rehearsal one day saying, hey, I kind of miss that noise, sitting in front of an orchestra, thrashing away, making a hell of a racket. It's very exciting. And it was partly through that conversation that we actually decided we were going to try and get some pieces written for us with orchestra. So the new stuff, new ideas come out of from all sorts of directions. That was a sort of a desire on the part of two of us, which we managed to sell to the others. We're not like pianists who can tour the globe playing Schumann, Beethoven, Chopin maybe, and you can have a very successful career. You've got a large repertoire there. It's not quite the same for us, I think, for various reasons.
We're very lucky as a group that on the whole we're pretty healthy, we're pretty strong, certainly. Because we do a lot of concerts and quite demanding and a lot of travelling, but we seem to be quite strong in ourselves and keep going and able to do it. And for me, having new things to think about, always slightly new on the horizon, something to reach out to, it always gives an added sort of incentive and drive to work harder and want to do more. And the fact of the matter is, I can only speak for myself, but I absolutely love singing. I love singing the Hilliard Ensemble. I love the group and really enjoy the performing, because we work so closely together, know each other so well, just like a string quartet. Little nuances that you can't get unless you worked for a long time with people. We get to know how they do it. We know how we breathe together. We don't have to consciously think, now we're going to start here, we're going to stop, we're going to do this. It all comes with the experience of working together and listening so hard to what we all individually do. That makes for how the group really works, what we're about in the Hilliard Ensemble.